Hi, welcome back if you've been watching. We're going to start talking about getting started and what to do. All right, so you've been admitted, you're starting to prepare and plan on coming here. What do you need to do to get started? So, aside from that CSU EID, getting your RAM web, and getting your CSU email address set up, what you're going to want to do is start finding housing. Housing around Fort Collins can be competitive, and on campus can be even more competitive because there's a huge number of students. As a graduate student, you are not required to live on campus. It can be helpful if you're looking for a certain community, and it's often not the most financially smart opportunity. There's lots of different housing options around campus. Be smart when you're looking for housing. Use trusted sites like Zillow, um, rental property management websites, things like that. Um, just remember, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. You want to arrive at least 1 week prior to the start of school. This is to ensure if you need to meet with your professors, if there is an orientation that you need to attend, such as the graduate school hosts an orientation and the International Students and Scholars Services host an orientation. So you may want to go to one or both of those. And then you'll want to start registering for classes. And we're going to talk about that next. What do I need to take? What classes are required? What does this program look like? Before you can register, it'll have you complete registration ready on your RamWeb. Again, this is just collecting all your information. They do this every semester, and it's just to make sure that your phone number is up to date, your email's up to date, your address is up to date. And then the last question is, do I need an advisor coming in? No, the way that the program is structured is that you have a few semesters to explore what research that you want to do, make these connections with different faculty members. So, no, you don't need an advisor coming in. The only exception would be if you were offered a graduate research assistantship, then it's kind of expected that that faculty member would be your advisor. All right, so what to register for, especially in your first semester. So, this is just the MS program and the requirements for each different track. The reason why I use this is because it's very applicable to both the PhD and the MCS. So, regardless what degree that you're doing, everyone is going to need the 24 credits of the core or the breadth requirement. So, it's 24 credits of the core and then at least 4 from each group 1, group 2, group 3. That will cover the breadth. The remaining 12 credits can be from any group, and they can also include a few up to 2 400 level courses. So, really, regardless, whatever program that you're in, PhD, master's, or MCS, all degrees need this 24 credits of the core. Beyond that, Uh, other than the MCS, you're going to need to take at least 1 credit of CS 501, which is an Intro to Computer Science Research seminar. This is with Sanjay, and you'll want to register for that in your first semester. As you can see, if you are an MS student doing Plan B research project or an MS student Plan A thesis, as well as if you're a PhD student, you'll need to take 2 credits of CS 501, and these are in back to back semesters. What 501 does is it helps you find a faculty advisor. A lot of the content is going to be focused on coming into grad school, how to do research, um, different lecture series. So it's really geared towards diving into research. That's why the MCS doesn't require 501. And then after that, after the seminar and the breadth requirement, that's where it really gets into plan specific. So you don't need to know what you're going to take in after the breadth or the seminar requirements until you're kind of getting there, and if you have an advisor, if you found a research group that you really like, or if you haven't found an advisor and you're ready to just take courses and get out, whatever, you can then decide on your plan. You really don't need to know which plan you're doing or which advisor you have until the middle of your second semester. So you have a little bit of time to explore. For a PhD thesis and research project, you need to find your own advisor and your own committee. For research initiation, you have a default advisor and a default committee. And then for MCS, you have a default advisor. So without going into too much detail, the big difference between the MS and the MCS, so this is the MS plan that you see in front of you. The big difference is how much research you're doing. With the MS, there's 3 different ways that you can complete your MS, but they all include at least 1 credit of CS 501, which is that Intro to Research seminar. And then on top of that, if you decide to do a research project or a thesis, you're going to be doing more research. The MCS is strictly coursework. It's 9 courses, 36 credits, and it's traditional courses, so no research credits at all. Thankfully, this is really easy to switch and change. So if you applied for the MCS, but you actually want to do a little bit of research, you can switch to the MS really easily. Same as if you get into the MS and then you're like, research really just isn't for me, we can go ahead and switch you to the MCS. Before I show you the group requirements, I wanted to go ahead and go over transfer credits. So if you're an MS or an MCS student, we typically don't take transfer credits. It is on a case-by-case basis, so come and talk to me if this applies to you. If you're a PhD student, we can accept a master's degree. If you have a master's from a different university, we can offer up to 30 credits towards your PhD. If you have a master's from CSU, we can take as many credits as you took in your master's towards your PhD. The other exception would be if you're a PhD student and you have a master's and you've already taken courses that are similar to a course in Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, or you're outside CS requirement, you can petition to have those courses waived. All right, so looking at the different groups, you need to make sure that you choose at least 1 course from every group. This is to ensure that you covered the breadth requirement. And it's important that you kind of consider what you might want to take and then think about when they might be offered. You don't want to be put in a position where you only have 1 course left, you have to take a Group 2, it's not your strong suit, and now you're forced to take a really hard Group 2 because that's the only Group 2 offered in that semester. So just think about that ahead of time and kind of try and map out what semesters these courses are typically offered. It can be hard to see when these courses are typically offered because they're not on a routine schedule. So some of these courses are offered every fall, some are offered every spring, some are offered like every other year, some are offered intermittently, just depending on needs and availability of faculty members. Also notice that on every group, these are all 500 level CS courses. So 400 level CS courses, even if it would technically fall into one of these groups, we can't count the 400 level courses as your group requirement. So how do I know what's being offered? The course catalog is not the most up-to-date. It's confusing. I generally don't recommend it, especially to incoming students. Sometimes for new students, it's helpful. What I would say is go to that link, the registrar.colorstate.edu, click on class schedule, And then you can view the courses by the semester. So fall 2024 should be up right now with a spring 2025 preview. The spring 2025 will change as it gets closer, but it's good to at least see what's being planned. You'll search for computer science or CS. And then if you want to only look at 500 level courses, you can put 5 and then the percentage sign, and it'll only bring up 500 level courses. You can do this with 400 level, 600 level, doesn't matter. If you're looking at CSU Online has a structure for when they believe these CS courses will be offered, and it's always good to double check with me or Sanjay, but it's not always up to date. So even though it says a certain course may be offered in that semester, if you don't see it being offered, it likely isn't going to be offered. All right, let me know if you have any questions about courses and getting started.